Hello and welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Just LA and Stevie with us tonight. So
is that okay?
It's all right.
I don't care.
It's okay.
You seem very underwhelmed.
Don't get too carried away.
Everyone else is in Paris.
In fact, why does he go like that? Scrumple it up, chuck it, see you later, we'll just go home.
No.
Because he's too boring, old geezers.
No. Well, we'll see how boring it is. We'll rate it at the end, shall we? All right. First question. Stevie, if Liverpool win tomorrow, will Klopp be regarded as the best manager in club history? He would have won 1 Premier League title, 2 Champions League titles, few other cups, and has consistently had a competitive team across all competitions.
Listen, as great as he is and has been, he's got a little bit of catching up to do. Nobody's ever going to outdo Shankly. I mean, it just won't ever happen. Next in line's got to be Bob Paisley. I mean, Bob Paisley. We've seen what's happened at Manchester United, trying to go after Alex Ferguson. Can you imagine trying to go after Bill Shankly? And what did Paisley do? Not only did he go after it, he exceeded it as far as trophies were concerned. So, as great as Klopp is, he's still got a little bit to go to reach any sort of stage like that.
So if you could read that question then as just being club history, as in all clubs, he definitely isn't anywhere near there then.
Well, I would say that no question, as I said, Shankly's the top guy. But then there are 3 managers whose imprint in the club will last forever as a manager, and that's Paisley, Dalglish, and Klopp. But that's at
Liverpool.
Liverpool.
What if this is meaning club history, as in domestic football history? Is he way off then?
No, I don't think so.
So if this includes everyone?
Listen, if this includes everyone, there are. So we're talking about 100 years of history here, right? So in the 100 years of history, you could probably pick, in England, you could probably pick half a dozen straight off the bat, and after that you're struggling. And we're talking about 100 years. And if Klopp was to walk away from Liverpool tomorrow, there is no question that he will be remembered for what he's done in the game. For his character, for the trophies, for the way he plays the game. I mean, there are half a dozen managers in the course of the English Premier League history that have made an imprint on the English game. And he's one of them. There aren't that many.
So overall, Klopp is going to be up there?
Absolutely.
Right. Ale, if Ancelotti wins tomorrow's match, where would he be ranked in the history of managers?
All over the place, huh? The success of Carlo Ancelotti cannot be disputed, cannot be argued. The longevity of Carlo Ancelotti and the fact that he has managed in really, really tough environments. And yet he seems to thrive in these tough environments. Now, he is a completely different personality than Jurgen Klopp, at least from what we see from the outside looking in. But what you have in common from both of these managers, however they go about it, is the evidence on the field that the players react to them, that the players produce for them. And that, I think, is the best definition of a manager, and what I think should be highlighted for a successful manager. Do the players out on the field, in moments of stress, moments of pressure, perform and execute in a manner that allows their teams to win and win consistently? Carlo Ancelotti's teams have done that for years.
I'll tell you what, they can say, it makes no difference to Ancelotti's status.
Nope.
If he wins tomorrow or not. Because what he's done he's not going to top it. So tomorrow's game doesn't matter.
And part of what we've seen from Ancelotti this season is that he is at peace with who he is as a manager. There are a bunch of guys out there that are always sort of trying to prove themselves and trying to be smarter than the next guy, and they have to make a show of a press conference and what have you. Carlo Ancelotti is who he is, whether you like him or not, and he is going to carry himself in the manner that he wants to, because he has earned that right. There's nothing apologetic about Carlo Ancelotti, and there's nothing stressful about Carlo Ancelotti. And I think the players gravitate to that this guy, he doesn't think that he's more important than the team, than any of us. He's one of us, he's our leader, and we want to play for him. What else can you say about a manager?
Stevie, both Real Madrid and Liverpool players must be nervous tonight. What are some things you did before a big game?
Oh.
Would you end up staying up for most of the night?
No, slept like a baby.
Have you ever lost any sleep?
Not really.
Not really.
No, not unless the no, it doesn't matter. Listen, all of the players on these two sides have been through every single thing. You know, we've been talking all week. I've heard a lot all week about, you know, for Real Madrid, this is, you know, they're used to this. They've been here before. You know, the 113, blah blah blah. And all the players that are playing now know what it's about. But you can say the same thing for Liverpool. This is Liverpool's third appearance in 5 years with this team. So neither of these sides players are going to lose any sleep tonight whatsoever. They're going to do these things they've always done, night before a game, whatever it was. For me, it was eating bags of crisps, drinking cans of Coke, watching the telly till about midnight and then shutting it down. Dead easy.
No problem.
I don't think that that's what's going on nowadays.
Ali, how were you before a big game?
I think the approach I took in moments of high pressure, big World Cup qualifier, Copa America semifinal, is I've done the homework, right? I've done the studying. It's almost like a final test. You can't, the night before, you can't just cram everything in and try to be successful the next day. That doesn't work. So if you feel like your preparation has been correct and you've done everything that you can to be ready for the game, then you sleep soundly and deeply, and then you wake up excited about what's ahead. However, if you're the kind of student that has been panicking ahead of this big final test, then you wake up that next day, however much sleep you got, you wake up nervous about the outcome. The one thing that I would say about players is that if there's anybody who can control what goes on the field, it's the players. So it's up to you.
You know the tester? The tester is the sleep you have the afternoon and again. That's the tester. If you don't sleep that afternoon, then you're probably not ready.
Really?
No, not ready is not the right word, but you're probably still a little bit nervous and unsure. The guys that will just have their pre-match meal, get upstairs, get the light out, put the head on the pillow and go to sleep, they'll be fine. Because
the guys were making a lot of they were really stunned to see Real Madrid training the other day. I know we heard them talking today about how it was more tactical and more intense, but they were saying, oh, you know, it was unbelievable to see them. They looked so relaxed. What's looking so relaxed in training? How do you determine a team's looking so relaxed?
No.
They were all stunned by it. I feel like every journalist talking about it.
I mean, what do you expect them to do? I mean, you know...
Well, you don't want to...
The test is not when you're watching Real Madrid and Liverpool. You know, the test is when it's a team that's come from nowhere. This is the first time they're at the ball or the big game or whatever you want to call it. Then maybe you could see some nerves.
Can you see nerves in a training session, do you think?
Well, for a team that's never been there.
Right.
And again, you'd have to spend time at both to actually turn around and say that. It's not right, because
not just our guys. I've heard it on podcasts from different sets of different media. They were all so stunned at how relaxed Real Madrid looked in their training sessions.
Listen, if you've been to different training sessions throughout the season and different times of the season, then you'll be able to tell on this training session 2 days before a Champions League final whether they're relaxed or not.
Right.
You'd have to spend some time. But it's not unusual for teams to have a laugh and a joke and a carry on every single day.
And from our retirement, what is it that we miss the most? That most guys that retired miss the most is that.
Carry on.
It's the back and forth with other players. And if you can't have that with your teammates in preparation for Champions League, I mean, this is in fact the moment in which you feel proud of what you have achieved and excited for what's ahead. That's why you can have a laugh. Now, as you get closer to the game, then you start focusing in, you hone in into your job, into your teammates' job, and everybody knows, okay, it's a moment to dance if we're gonna dance in Stevie's ball.
And people like Ancelotti and Klopp, I think, are perfect for doing that, making it relaxed. You know, a lot has got to do with the coaches as well. In '84, when we played in Roma, right, our preparation the week before was getting drunk down the beach, right? Their preparation was spending 2 weeks in the mountains, away from everybody, training every day and getting focused. Now, I'm sorry, but who wants to go away to the middle of nowhere for 2 weeks and having intense training every day? You talk about draining the energy out of you.
And the moral of the story is?
And the moral of the story is, Roma didn't play well and they lost the cup final at home. So it's sometimes about the manager as well, to make the players relax.
Perfect for the next question. For Ale, did you ever consider becoming a manager like Stevie? What would have been your style of play had you been one?
Well, who says I'm not going to be a manager in the future then? I say.
I think it's a little late, Ali.
I say.
We're going to have a special announcement tomorrow after the Champions League final.
After the Champions League final, it's going to be special. It's going to be special. Look, I think the best that I would want from my team would be a bunch of guys who enjoy being around each other and who are fully committed to what we're trying to do as a group. Maybe we're not the most talented. Maybe we don't quite have the big name players, but man, do we have character and personality. And that will get us through many big games. Now, we may not be able to compete with the best in the world, but at the very least, we're gonna make it difficult for everybody that we play against. That's sort of the personality of the team that I would want.
Would you let Stevie come in and give them a team talk?
Absolutely. I've said this 1,000 times. I would have loved to have played for Stevie Nicol. I would have loved. And not only now that I know him, I've known him for a few years, is players talk. And even when I was a player, the ongoing conversation about playing for Stevie is that it was a different experience.
I can back that up because my friend's an MLS commentator and the guys in the team that he commentates on have said the same, the guys who played for you, that they had a lot of fun playing for you, shall we say. For Stevie, if you were playing today, who would be the striker that would be the hardest to defend against?
It would be somebody like Benzema. For all the reasons we've heard over the years, it's tough to pick him up. So and I'm talking about playing as a centre-back now. As a centre-back, I would much prefer to have a Lukaku or somebody like that. I mean, even if you want to even go as far as a Haaland, because you know what he's going to do. You know what his game's about. Now, it just so happens that even though you know what he's going to do and what his game's about, you can't stop it because he's so good. But I would much rather face Haaland than I would face Benzema, because you never know where Benzema is. And so centre-backs love to know where their opposition is most of the time, and then half the job's done. But when you're constantly looking around for somebody and trying to figure out where they are, where they're going to be, that's a nightmare for any defender.
Is it just your job in hand, or do you think, are you scared of being made to look silly by a player like that if you're a defender?
No, you don't think about things like that. That's more for that's not, in professional football, that's not what you're thinking about.
Right.
You're not thinking about making you look stupid. You're thinking about letting yourself down, letting the team down. You want the result, all of those things, that's what you're thinking. You're not thinking about making you look stupid.
Right.
You just want to do your job well. And you just want to play against somebody who's going to make it a little easier for you.
How would you have defended against Ali?
Oh, well.
Ali? Well, I just stayed away from him. Because even Ali couldn't fall down with nobody around him. Right?
That is fair. But I would have gotten close to you.
Oh, yeah. I'd have been running away. And he'd be
like,
chasing
no,
after
where are you
me.
going?
He'd be behind me. Come here. Quick, touch me so I'm good down.
Where are you going? No, I don't want to go to goal.
Last question. LA's favorite Star Wars movie?
Wow. The original one, Star Wars: A New Hope. That's the one that started it all. Now, this prequels that came after, I couldn't keep up with what was going on. But the first one and how, I think it changed sort of the way that you watch movies, and it was exciting, and it was something different, and the characters, and Darth Vader, and Yoda, and Luke Skywalker, and the lightsabers, and all these things, all these special effects that perhaps we were not so familiar with, and the scene of the fighter Jedis getting into the Death Star and I remember sitting in the bed in Venezuela and like fighting as if I was a Jedi into the Death Star, trying to kill the Death Star and destroy it. Yeah.
We loved Star Wars as kids.
What?
Yeah, in our household.
Yeah.
And on
Rubbish.
Disney Plus, there's some more Star Wars stuff coming up, so make sure you check that out.
Ah.
Anyway, thanks so much for sending in your tweets. They'll be back tomorrow to look back on the big one, the Champions League final. Make sure you join them then.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.